So long, man. Have a good rest.
Fuck you! Help me! Taking maybe one step more. I'll let it off to my little friend.
Had to wear it tonight. Little thank you to Mike, big loyal friend of the show, longtime supporter, and he did that little mock of yours truly as Scarface. So they said, all right, I'll put it on tonight for a little while. I don't recall if Scarface actually wore glasses, but anyway, little shout. I always appreciate people who go the extra mile for yours truly. Do you see it? Do you see it? I don't know if Benjamin is here yet tonight. We have normal color. It only took a year. It only took a year. Should I put, all right, people are telling me put these back on. These are actually prescriptions, so I could actually read while we're doing this. But, you know, people have been telling me all year long, you're orange, you look extra tanned, you look like a Simpson character, you look like you have jaundice. And go figure, it was one setting in the camera. One setting in the camera. I still look like a Simpson, right? I probably do. But I fixed it today. I still have to tweak it because right now I look awfully pale, and I don't think I am this pale, but we got normal color. Unbelievable. Good evening, everyone. Now, I think from now on, right at the beginning of the show, for those who decided to take their time to join us early today, I want to do a little roll call, and all I ask is please just type your name once so I can just go through some of the names very quickly. That'll be, I think, a weekly thing from now on. When I say roll call, you just type your name, a little shout out. Actually, if you type, your name is already there. So if you want to write where you are currently viewing, you don't have to put your address. You don't have to put the specific town. If you want to, that's fine. But I want to give some shout outs to our friends tuning in live tonight. So by all means, here we go. Roger Rubio, Delano, California. By the way, Roger Rubio, we'll do a shout out in a minute. Neil Ray is tuning in from Iceland, New Jersey. SoFlyBmIOrE is in Baltimore. Steve Joseph, Miami, Florida. RCWR, he's hanging out with Tammy. I don't have champagne, but happy 10-year anniversary, my friend. Much love. Here's to another 10 years. Not too far behind. Michael Gonzalez is from Uranus. VJ, Toronto, Canada. Trailer Park Cinderella from Bluefield, West Virginia. Kevon Lewis from Missouri. Sterling. Just wanted to shout everybody out. Dahak, any advice and tips for someone who wants to start dating for the first time? Yeah, I'll give you a piece of advice in a minute. Nate Carroll from Nate. I guess Nate Sr. Garth from Oklahoma. Steve from Miami. Sterling from United Kingdom. 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Cheers, my friend. 3 a.m. Love it. Austin is chilling. Austin! Mighty in Singapore. Jesus Christ. I'm nothing against Singapore. I'm just saying the time difference. Austin, another Austin's from Alabama. Dahak from Cookie Valley. Chris from Bermuda. Walter from Austin, Texas. Stephen from Phoenix, Arizona. Garcia from Edmonton, Alberta. Canada, Alberta. And yeah, we'll do more shout outs later on. You know, I don't usually put my notes on the computer when we do these Thursday shows because you dictate whatever we talk about tonight. But I did, you know, some of the hints for today's contest is on here as well. But Roger Rubio, I wanted to make sure I got this right, so I printed it out. His friend just got an offer to play baseball at California State University, Cal State University, Bakersfield. And not only did his friend get the offer, he came back from Tommy John surgery, and he's going to be going from junior college to Division I baseball. Awesome, man. Also, I got to start labeling my special effects so we could do like little applauses and things like that. So congrats. Tell your friend, much love. Congratulations. That's awesome, man. Seriously. Tony Gloss, yeah, I think after that super chat the other day, you should be from parts unknown. That was a little crazy, but it's all good. I know you didn't mean it the way you did. At least I think you didn't. Niels from McDonald's. Have a Big Mac for me, man. I had a McRib the other day. I had no sauce on it. I liked it. I'm sorry. I liked it. I eat a little McDonald's even though I'm on keto. Now, you know, before I go any further, because I don't want to forget, Dahak asked me, any tips to dating, you know, for the first time? First of all, don't take my advice. Seriously, definitely don't take my advice because first time I dated anyone, it was my first love. But I've told some of the story already with this girl, and should I keep the sunglasses on? Come on, we're indoors. Should I just wear regular glasses? I'll leave it up to all of you. If you want me to put the sunglasses, I don't care either way. I see the same no matter what. But if you tell me you want me to keep these glasses on, that's cool. You know, I started dating when I was 16. And I had just gotten my junior license, and I was dating this girl, Lori. And a lot of you know part of this story already. All right, sunglasses, 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 sunglasses. All right, sunglasses it is. You know, I even got legit. This is a legit pair of sunglasses from the 70s. I kid you not. These are really legit 1970s sunglasses. The problem is they're not prescription. So everything is blurry right now. So if I kept them on during the show, I wouldn't be able to see nothing. So, by the way, I shaved almost all my stash. I don't know if you noticed that. It's just like, put it this way. Some people I'm sorry for cursing, but some people call me a pussy. If this was a pussy right now, this would be like the landing strip. You know, I decided to shave about 80% of it off. So, still looks probably the same. But anyway, so I started dating this girl, and I know Dahak is not 16, so he's not going to do something stupid like me. But when I got my junior license, and I got that Trans Am, you know, everybody remembers my dad's Cadillac. That was his car, and I would borrow it. But the first car I ever got was a Trans Am, 83 Trans Am. And I lit up the tires, and I drove like an asshole, and I started being like a little bit of a cocky son of a bitch. And she broke up. You know, we had this, I don't even know you call it at 16 years old. But it's not that she wanted to break up. She just was like, look, just leave me alone for a little while. And people have told me up until maybe 10, 15 years ago that if I didn't do what I did, I probably would have married this girl. That's how perfect we were together. But instead of me just, you know, letting things cool down and then we pick up where we left off, I decided to pull in front of her house and light the tires. And I lit up the tires, smoke everywhere. I mean, obviously the parents ran to the window. Who the fuck is doing this in front of our house? I never got to date her ever again. And this is a true story. About maybe 6 years later, when I was like 21 or 22, I had heard through a friend of mine that she had moved to a different area. She used to live in Middle Village, Queens. She moved to Glendale. So I said, you know what? I get a haircut at this place, like 2 blocks where she lives. I'm going to surprise her. So I rang her doorbell. I mean, I honestly couldn't believe I had balls like this to do this, but I rang her doorbell, and she answered. I had not seen her in 6 years. And I was like, oh my God, how you doing this and that? And she was going to college. She looked better than she did 6 years earlier. Her name was Lori Alevente. Trust me, if you Google search her, you won't find her, because a long time ago I Googled just to see if she was still around, see if she ended up getting married. But I rang a doorbell, we went in, we talked for about 5 minutes, and I was like, you seeing anybody? And she's like, yeah, I'm in a very serious relationship with someone from college. And it was just like a knife in the heart. And that was the last time I ever saw her. So no, the chest carpet, I don't let it go like Brillo pad, like that Daphne photo. I don't know if I have that Daphne photo handy, but oh my God, if people remember this photo, I don't know if I have it. See, I should be prepared to have photos like this available to just throw them up right away. It would probably take me way too long. Oh no, I found it. I found it. 19 years ago, everybody. 19 years ago. Here's another piece of advice, Dahak. You go on a date, don't have chest hair like this. I mean, if anybody's ever looked at, since, like when I posted this photo online, I kind of photoshopped a lot of that. That's hair. That's hair. That's not like parts of my shirt or a sweater like caught up in it. That's hair. And I wonder why when I was doing stuff for XPW, I couldn't get laid from anybody. Not from her. I'm just saying, like, even from, like, people who went to the shows. Who would want that? And what's up with that Jerry the King Lawler beard? I mean, what's up with that Jerry the King Lawler haircut? I swear to you, I was not a fan of Jerry the King Lawler in 2002. What is that? Look, my honest advice, Dahak, dating, be yourself. I know that is so cliche and that's corny, but be yourself. If you are talking to someone online, just keep the conversation and see where the conversation goes. Be yourself. Don't bullshit. And, if you have a little bit of flaws, just be yourself. Because the last thing you want to do is portray somebody that you're not. Then you start, maybe getting the opportunity to date someone, and then little things start coming out. And everything ends up getting ruined. I'm telling you, there's people right now that I see like talking to people online and trying this and, trying to be suave. And, I'm like, oh my God, creepy as fuck. I mean, creepy as fuck. Just be yourself, man. I mean, look how I met my significant other. I actually brushed her off the first 2 times that we were going to have a conversation. And she thought my dog was so cute and everything like that. And I don't know. I think deep down inside, I didn't think that I would be like her type or whatever. I keep pointing this way because that's where she usually is. She's not here tonight. But yeah, just be yourself. And I'm telling you, if you start talking to someone online, you will have mutual hobbies and mutual things that you like. And you'll spark some great conversation. I'm telling you. It could be sports, politics, wrestling, anything. But I will tell you one other piece of advice, and then we'll move on. And this goes out to everyone out there. Do not force meeting someone. Do not, just try to spark conversations everywhere and try to post things to get attention. You will meet someone usually when you least expect it. I was married for 6 months. I got that marriage annulled. And I met this woman by accident on a telephone. And I was still in a wheelchair from my car accident. I ended up marrying the girl. The fuck was I thinking? When you least expect it, that's when it usually happens. Don't force the narrative, man. I see people doing that online. Sure, it sucks in a lot of ways to be alone. It's not fun. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, we're not alone. We have each other online. But, you just got to be yourself, man, and don't force it. The more you force it, the less of a chance you're going to find someone. And, if you find someone, don't be with someone simply because you want to be with someone. Because over the years, I've known a lot of people that are like that. I honestly never thought I was going to get married again. Even though I got my marriage annulled, I was so bitter and I was so embarrassed to my family. I was like, I'm never getting married again. Never ever thought it in a million years. You know, till I met her. So, is the Mcrib worth it, Neil? It's not bad. You know, I mean, like I said, social media, there's always going to be an asshole that is just going to ruin it for people. You know, I mean, I understand it's not like the most healthiest thing to eat. And I understand that, you know, maybe some of the ingredients aren't all that spectacular, but it's not like you're going to have like a daily vitamin that you could have a McRib every day. You have one once in a while. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, I will admit it sucked that I couldn't have the barbecue sauce, but there's too much sugar in it. And honestly, I, for a minute, just was going to be like, fuck it. I'll just eat it as is and deal with the ramifications. It's just, you know, because I have stuff going on every day. I don't want to have to deal with headaches and flu for a day or two. So go check it out, man. I'm serious. Go check it out. VJ shirataki noodles. It's something you got to get used to. There is a company called New Pasta, NUPASTA. If you're serious about shirataki noodles, if you come across them online, buy a pack or two. Buy the angel hair version. All you do is you rinse it, and then what I like to do is I do like to put it in a frying pan on medium heat and take some of the water out, and then you mix it with sauce, and it's incredible. But if you don't get the right one, because I've probably eaten maybe 10 different brands of shirataki noodles over the last 2 years, and the first 9 tasted like I was biting into rubber bands. You know, the fishy smell is not fun. I mean, I learned from trial and error. But New Pasta is pretty damn spectacular. So, for everybody asked about my dad earlier, here's the update. Hospital wants him to get a COVID test done on Tuesday. Yes, he had the first vaccine already, but they still want him to get a COVID test. He's got to go Tuesday to get a COVID test. And as long as that clears, which I know it will, he's getting his stents put in on Thursday. And honestly, I'm rattled. I'm not going to lie, I'm extremely rattled because I told you the story yesterday about my uncle. My uncle, his brother. My uncle was supposed to get a stress test. He put it off for a week. He died 2 days later. The time frame between my father with his stress test he had done yesterday and the hospital is a week. So, you know, like just all throughout the day, like I'm petrified that my telephone is going to ring. And if I see the house number, you know, like the later in the day it gets, you know, the bigger the lump in my throat. So I'm hoping that everything goes just fine. You know, we changed our date for the second COVID test. We were originally going the 21st of February for the second shot. That's now been changed to the 18th. So February 18th is when we get the second shot. And as long as everything goes well, I'm looking into WrestleMania already. I already looked into plane fares. Only issue is that my fiance, you know, she's 10 years younger than me. So she doesn't qualify for the COVID test. Now, you know, I don't want to do any finagling to have her, not COVID test, the vaccine. I could finagle and get a vaccine for her if needed. But honestly, there are people out there that really, really need this. Life or death. You know, she's very careful. She's like, look, New Year's Eve. I watched that clip earlier when we hit midnight, when we had our New Year's Eve thing here a month ago. Wow, it's already a month, everybody. It's already 4 weeks since that episode. And the first words out of her mouth when she came in this room, did you sanitize? That's all I hear. Did you sanitize? Not for nothing. I'm kind of a clean freak, and I do sanitize, and I do, you know, make sure that everything is, you know, sanitized. You don't know what it's like to be my age and take a shit or take a leak, flush the toilet, and I always wash my hands, and I go into the bedroom, and because she didn't hear it, because she's got our headset on or whatever, she's like, did you wash your hands? I'm like, why don't you shut up? You know? I mean, she's just, but that's annoying. I don't know if any of you out there deal with that. You have a significant other or your mom or your dad that you wash your hands, you take care of everything, and they still, did you wash your hands? What am I, 6? By the way, we got Lenny stuff today. We got Lenny audio today. Oh my God. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6 audio clips tonight. 2 of them really are nothing. One of them, the greatest promo that you will hear from a non-wrestler. I started going through shit. I promise you, when I play what I have titled as Lenny promo, this is like, he's not a wrestler, he's a whack job. And he was like in his mid-60s when he did this. He's a couple of eggs short of a dozen. And he's now in his mid-80s. And when you hear this guy cutting a promo, and it's not a wrestling promo, he's cursing someone out on my fucking voicemail. You'll say 90% of the wrestling roster out there can't cut a promo as good. Eddie Kingston, Homicide, and some others. I've always said to you, Drew McIntyre, Heath Slater, when he came back for that one shot in WWE, a lot of the best promos that you hear today are the ones that are based on reality. Because when you can actually strike a nerve inside yourself about something, that's where you cut your best promos. When I had that situation with Stevie Ray, I defended myself. And for about 20 minutes, I went off. And I had all walks of life say to me, that was amazing. I had nothing written down. Everything came from here. People like, that's amazing. When I, would go after people that, a lot of it came from here. So when it comes from here, instead of reading a piece of paper and trying to memorize it, it always seems to come out better. This Lenny promo, and it wasn't even meant to be a promo. Wait while I share it to you. Oh. You remember last week when I played you, when I prank called Captain Ivan and I played the Robert De Niro clips? That wasn't the first one I ever did. I actually did it to a girl that I dated for about 2 months, almost 20 years ago. And it was the first time that I ever tried it out. And I was only dating her maybe 2 weeks. I had no idea that certain relatives in her family were deceased. But I decided to try out the soundboard. Like, I wanted to call someone that I knew to see how they would react. And I recorded it, and I freaking found it. Like I told all of you a couple of weeks ago, I have thousands of files in an old hard drive that's about 15 years old that has files in there 20 plus years old. And about 10 years or so ago, it crashed. I had sent the hard drive out to a company to get it fixed. They were able to recover almost all the files, but the problem is the files, I don't know if it was Windows 2000, but a lot of the files, their names changed. So instead of Lenny Promo, it was 3AZ295CAS. Like, they just random numbers. So I literally have to go through each one to see what it is. And if anybody remembers when I did Tombstone Radio 20 some odd years ago online, I mean, I had thousands of wrestling songs. So they're all in this hard drive. So I'm clicking and I'm hearing theme. And then in the midst of that, you hear, Hotline report from 1999. I didn't even realize I had in there. So I'm telling you, it's going to be great. See, Sterling, I would never go through the hard drive live like this because I could only imagine, I don't have any illegal stuff in there, but I could only imagine, accidentally opening up a file that is like a porn clip or something like that. I'm being honest. So I have to scrub it first and make sure. We don't want any issues on YouTube. Yeah, you know how it is. Like Sterling says, you know how it is. But for people that are asking, back in 2000, there was a website. Some of you may remember it. There was a website called live365.com. I think it may still be around. Live365.com, you could create your own radio station. And basically you would upload files to a server. You had to pay for it. And it would stream your music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's why I say to all of you out there, if you want to see something really, really cool, go Google the website called Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine. And then when you get on there, type in wrestling-news.com and go back 20 years. And you will find my website from 20 years ago. And because they archived so many of my pages at that time, you'll actually see the Tombstone radio player, and you'll actually see the songs scrolling. In fact, because I have the capability now of putting live feeds on the screen like this, I could actually, maybe next week, go on Wayback Machine and live on the show and show you on the screen as I'm doing it, and you see it. But I found a commercial that I used to stream online. This is really nothing, but just to give you an idea of what I used to do back in the day. It's a little goofy, but this is how I used to advertise Tombstone Radio at the time. Hopefully this is the right one.
Run, coward.
Are you sick of wrestling hotlines that seem to be outdated with their news? Then why take it? Pull their plug. For all your latest wrestling news, rumors, scandal, and gossip, call the Blackhearts, 718-303-4444. The call is free within the state of New York. Outside of New York, toll charges may apply.
See, Mish, I used to be able to do commercials too. Oh, that was so lame. I mean, I just played video game sounds, and that was 20 years ago. That wasn't Tombstone Radio, obviously. That was for my hotline. But like I said, I'm just pulling random files. You know what? Oh, and by the way, we will be giving this away shortly. It is Beckett authenticated with the serial number. You go on Beckett's website, you type the serial number on the bottom right here. It'll show you the actual screenshot of this. And somebody's going to win it today. Now, oh, thank you, Psycho. Watch the beginning of today's show, and you'll know why I'm wearing this tonight. It's a little thank you to Mike. He has a store, Your Best Bargains, and he played around with a little face app, and I thought it was so cool and so funny. I said, all right, I got to put this on today. Now, I'm not going to lie. This is only from the waist up. I am not wearing suit pants right now. I have lower bottoms on, but I'm not wearing suit pants. I'd be like 500 degrees in here if I wore suit pants with this. In fact, this is an old jacket. This is like a jacket I used to wear when I used to manage at wrestling events. I didn't want to wrinkle like a really good suit jacket. Because quite honestly, and look, I know it sounds pretty messed up, but how many of you will admit and say it, you know, you don't want to like dirty or wrinkle a really nice suit. If someone drops dead tomorrow, you know, you have to have a suit ready, right? I mean, I know it sounds messed up, but come on, let's be honest. I always got to have a suit ready in case something happens. So let me also let you know, as far as giveaways, they're going to continue every week. Prizes are going to range. But what I am going to do from now on is I am going to do it abruptly during the show, because I saw a message board. A lot of you out there like to show me things because you trust me that I would never out people. But there was a message board that someone posted that I was giving away this rowdy Ronda Rousey picture today. And they posted the link for the show, and they said that when I'm ready at the point to do the live contest, the person was going to post and let everyone know so they could jump on the show and participate. No. This is for everyone who sticks with me during the show. I don't expect you to hear every minute of the show, but this is for everybody. So if I say right now, let's do it, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to give people enough time to like log off of another show and log off of this website and log off of this message board and then sign on to the show and get to the spot. So that no. But I will definitely give you like a couple of seconds notice. I'll let you know beforehand, but then we'll just pop it out there. Steve Joseph, would I ever consider watching the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, and why did WWE make that? Honestly, I will never watch it. For those that are asking why did Steve word the question that way, I've always been an Ultimate Warrior fan. I still get goosebumps when he made his WCW debut. I know Bischoff on all his interviews it went way too overtime and it screwed up the rest of the show. Fuck that. Us wrestling fans loved it. And that's all that matters. Him as a producer, I understand why he feels that way, and I don't disagree with him. But for me as a wrestling fan, I enjoyed it tremendously. And if you listen to his debut, instead of watching it, and you hear that crowd erupt the way they did, that is a monster pop. That is a monster pop. And I was always a Warrior fan. And when WWE came out with this self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, this might be a little extreme, but that was WWE bullying at its finest. You know, obviously, 2021, a lot of us have evolved, and, you know, we understand, you know, that you're not supposed to, like try to hurt and destroy someone's career and livelihood. I mean, if someone online does something absolutely disgusting, they ruined it for themselves. But, you know, WWE, their bitter hatred for the Ultimate Warrior, the lawsuits, Warrior, you know, changing his name legally, they wanted to do a DVD to basically show that Warrior was a whack job, an absolute whack job. And yes, I know of the speeches that he said about homosexuality a long time ago. But what a lot of you that have been sticking with me for years know that someone who still checks out the shows, once in a while I get a little DM from him, hey, I'm still around, just to let you know, like this with the Ultimate Warrior. Very close friends. Don't want to say who he is. Some of you would recognize his name. But he said to me, he said that once he started getting real serious with Dana and they started having a family, you know, he started, you know, he opened up and he started listening. And Dana Warrior, in a lot of ways, was very opposite to the Ultimate Warrior. And he evolved. His views changed. And, you know, I always believe that someone deserves the opportunity for redemption. You know, unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, once convicted, that's it. They refuse to give you a chance at redemption. And most of those people that do that have the biggest skeletons in their closet. It's an overwhelming guilt that a lot of people have. That because of all of their faults, that if they express the opposite and they're praised, they feel like they're a better person. And they feel like that's like, you know, some people have rosary beads and they say 10 Hail Marys and 10 Our Fathers, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. And then, you know, they think that, you know, I'll be a better person going forward. No, for some people out there, It's let me bash everybody else that did the same thing I did, and I will get hits, likes, and praise, and everybody will think that I'm this wonderful person, and that's my way of damage control. And now, because everybody thinks I'm a wonderful person, I don't need to reveal that I did the same things. I don't need to reveal that at one point I was as bad as everybody else, but I learned and I growed. They're pussies because they're too afraid to take the heat. So what do? Bash everyone else. Oh, this person's such a wonderful person. And they pray to God every night that they don't get caught of all their skeletons in their closet. Hey, Guardian Chaos, what's going on, my friend? But so when that came out, I wouldn't even watch the advertisements for it. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. But in hindsight, WWE, I think WWE went very overboard celebrating the Ultimate Warrior even after his passing, probably because of some guilt of what they did. Was the Ultimate Warrior an innocent person in all of this? No. I mean, he caused a lot of chaos as well, let's be honest. But WWE, it's like what I tell you, and oh man, I should have put it online. I recorded it yesterday for a few of you out there. When I told the story about my biggest mistake, going back to the hotlines, even 1997, my biggest regret doing this stuff since 97 was making fun of Jim Ross's Bell's palsy about 15 years ago. And, he wrote about it in his Ross report. And I felt like the biggest piece of shit after. I didn't write on MySpace, hey, I hope he accepts my apology. No, I contacted him privately and I apologized. And I said that, I'm very embarrassed. And to this day, every so often, I buy barbecue sauce, I buy ketchup, I buy beef jerky, and most of the time it just sits in my back room in my office, gets outdated, and I throw it away. Or I give it away. How many of you that were on our Patreon since day one, and early on I was giving away loads of Jim Ross stuff for free? Because I just felt after, like, that was my way of kind of like penitence, like instead of putting money in a donation box in the church after I did my confession, no, I bought beef jerky. So I would not ever watch that Ultimate Warrior. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I'm glad that people across the board and even in wrestling have evolved from that tone. You don't see things like that anymore. If someone is going to do themselves in, let them do themselves in themselves, SoFly, what are my memories of Son of Sam? Any personal stories or connections? Well, I wasn't even 10 years old when Son of Sam was around, David Berkowitz. I do remember as a little kid, my mom and my dad watching the news quite often about these random shootings that were popping up in the city. And all I remember about this guy when I was a kid is when they first arrested David Berkowitz. And he was wearing like a plaid button-down shirt, had this frizzy black hair, awfully red lips. It was just something about him was like, man, that is like the poster child today of a creepy fuck. I mean, the guy was just creepy. And I think he said Satan told him to do it, or Satan told this dog to tell him to do it. The guy was a whack job, but I will tell you that I have, and I do know that a lot of the footage is now on YouTube, but in my DVD collection, I have all that old news footage and everything. I have tons of news reports from the late 70s when he was still on the loose. It consumed New York. Women were afraid to go out at night. I think it was more centered around Manhattan, maybe a little bit of Queens and Brooklyn, but it really just consumed the city. I even think I have a newspaper article with him on the cover. I don't, what's funny? I don't think it's because of him. I don't know if there was a Billy Martin firing or something, but I have a newspaper in my collection that is from around that time, and I remember him on the cover, but the newspaper I had was for a totally different reason. I don't remember. But that's the extent of what I remember about. I was too young to understand. But, looking back on it, because now I know what happened, you realize now, what this guy did. The guy was crazy. Still is. Yeah, the same summer of the New York City blackout. That infamous picture, if you've ever seen it, of me with the Met shirt on, leaning against it looks like I'm in a hotel room, because I was. That was right around that time. We had the big blackout. I remember watching the Mets on TV, and I think no, I'm mixing up two things. No, I was out when Elvis died. I was a little kid at the time, but the blackout of 77, I don't remember really much of it at all. But I have tons of footage of that as well. In fact, if you go on YouTube, you will see a lot of news reports from, I think, ABC TV, and you'll see people in the city, and they're drinking and having wine and dining, and there's no electricity. And people are just fuck it, we're still going to go out and party. It was pretty wild. It lasted, I think, for a day and a half or 2 days. We had a blackout here, I don't know, about 10 years ago, that lasted 2 days. I was doing the shows at the time. No, this is about 10 years ago. We had a 2-day, someone will probably Google it right now. We had a blackout here in Queens, New York, about 10 years ago that lasted for 2 days. Okay, no, I think Rocky Red, you're right, 2003 we had it too. But we had another one about 10 years ago. It's got to be about 10 years, maybe a little more than 10, but we had another one besides 2003. 2003 was really messed up too, because so many of my customers put in insurance claims. August 14, 2003. There was another one that happened around 10 years ago or so. It was late 2000s, I'm positive. It might have been a day and a half, but it was a big deal. It was a big deal because I remember my father did it in 2003, and my father did it the last time we had one. If you search Queens, New York blackout, you'll probably find the date. It's definitely 2006. Still sounds old. Okay, Lee, thank you. 2012. The 2019 really wasn't much. Really wasn't that bad, but 2012, yeah. So it was about 9 years ago. So yeah. And what's up, Sam? Austin Nance, Guardian of Care. Guardian, my mom is okay. My dad, he's going to get the stent, 2 stents done next Thursday. He's going for a COVID test Tuesday, and that'll come back clear. But then he goes to St. Francis Hospital next Thursday. He has 2 stents put in, and I just hope between now and then, we don't have any issues, complications. So, my father today ate a whole boatload of Chinese food, and my father's in shape. So he just, he enjoys himself, and, he's got to be careful. He just had pneumonia 4 months ago. I mean, the pneumonia, if people remember, that just knocked me for a loop because we all thought he had COVID, and we were petrified he was going to give it to my mom. Thank God it was pneumonia and not COVID, but still, pneumonia could kill you as well. And speaking of that, I know it wasn't pneumonia, but if you're not aware of it, Brodie Lee's wife, Amanda, she went on the AEW Unrestricted podcast, I think, yesterday. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Might have even been today. She talks in great detail what happened to Brodie Lee. It is pretty much what we talked about in January. That, remember when I said that his lungs were failing? But I didn't want to go any further than that because I don't know firsthand. And nobody that was in his inner circle I was talking to, so it'd be disrespectful for me to just use hearsay as far as, getting the information. So, I just left it on the shows that his lungs were failing. That's pretty much what happened. They tried to get him a lung transplant, and he was rejected. I don't know the extent why. I know there's waiting lists. I know there's other things, but he was rejected, and his lungs were failing. He had an infection, and some people did I wish I could credit them right now. I don't have it in front of me. Tomorrow I'll probably mention him. Few people did a wonderful job recapping her appearance on the podcast. I mean, wrote in extreme detail what happened to him. And as you read it, you get sadder and sadder and sadder. And that's why once you read it, you'll understand why I got so angry yesterday at people that were criticizing that Brodie Lee Jr. is being featured doing commentary on Dark and other stuff like that. It's just an absolute tragedy, a sad story, and it just goes to show you that you could be a larger-than-life monster. He was physically fit. That guy was a beast. He didn't abuse his body, was always using the Peloton and everything else, and look what happened. No one is immortal. Everyone is mortal. So, it's very powerful. I have not heard it yet, but I read the transcript. It was pretty much what we all feared it was, times 100. Times 100. Now, it's getting a little controversy because some people feel that the reason why she got this detailed is because of the Bruce Mitchells and others out there that felt that they were entitled to know the details. I don't think that that's the case at all. I think because AEW and a lot of people there, and WWE wrestlers as well, I don't want to give it away, but there was some others that were right by his side up until the end as well. But I think because of the outpouring of love and support to that family across the board, that I think she felt for them, she wanted to explain what happened. Go check it out if you want to. Go check it out. Mystery Man, what's going on? Mystery Man, I'm wearing this tonight. Watch the first 30 seconds of the show and you'll know why. You'll know why. The funny thing is, I don't think it looks like Scarface. I think it looks more like, I don't know, Saturday Night Fever? Saturday Night Fever? Or kind of like Goodfellas. I don't know. It's like, and believe me when I tell you, I tried to paste my hair down like Tony Montana today, and unfortunately, the way my hair is cut, if I paste it down, there's like pieces of my hair that go down to my nose. I kid you not. It looks like my hair is short, but I'm telling you, I don't really want to mess it up, but if I start going like this, you'll see hair go all the way down to here. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. That game was awesome, man. Okay, I want someone to do me a favor here. Please do not super chat it. Steve Joseph, I have no idea what you're talking about when you say Robin Hood. So please elaborate. I don't know what you're talking about. Night of the Roxbury, I don't know about that, but you'd be surprised, man. When I used to hang out with my friends, you'd be surprised how many people I dressed like this. I mean, I dressed like this. I mean, I don't keep my shirt. I'm not big on ties. I always like to wear the chain. I have this chain since I was like in my 20s. It looks a little bit longer now because my neck got smaller. I was always an 18 and a half, 19 neck. And I noticed being on keto that my neck size now is down to 18. So, Mass Maniac. for all of you to go back. I guess some of the neck fat went away. Remember neck fat? Oh my God. A lot of people out there don't know. Quadruple H is saying Callis. Callis. Well, I look like Don Callis? Maybe. I don't know. I like Don Callis' style, believe it or not. Okay. Neil Ray says Robin Hood stopped people. Oh, okay. All right. I talked about this on Patreon Tuesday with Mish. I was blown away and fascinated by what was going on with GameStop. Stock going up 1,000% since January. I looked at the stock today. The stock went down at some point, like over $100 a share. You know, let me put it this way. You got Robinhood and other outlets out there trying to stop people from buying stock. You know, they try to flip it. That's pretty much, people will try to flip stock. And in a lot of ways, they borrow. They borrow. They don't buy the stock, and they sometimes will borrow it, however they do it. Line of credit, I don't know. And then they try to flip it. And what happened was people get too greedy. People get too greedy. You know, it happens with podcasts. It happens with gambling. It happens in a lot of different ways of life. You get a little bit, and me, I'm content, quit while I'm ahead. You've seen me go to Mohegan Sun the last 2 years, and almost every single time I hit some type of a jackpot. Nothing crazy, but $400, $700. I know for a lot of you, like, that's nice. But I stop. That's why I always show the ticket and I kiss it. Some people in the podcast land especially think when I post a picture of me kissing the lottery ticket, like I'm rubbing it in their face that I hit. No, that's my way of showing proof. Like, look, I pulled the ticket and I stopped. That's really what it is. But some people push. And what happened the last 2 days is you had a lot of people that didn't want to tap into their own funds and buy the stock. They got lines of credit or they borrowed, and they figure, oh, you know, it's not, I'm not taking the money out of my mortgage or rent money. I'll use the plastic, I'll borrow. And look, if I lose a little bit, hey, it's a gamble, and I pay it off wherever I can until tens of billions of dollars get lost. Some people saw the stock go up $10, $20, $50, $60, and they pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. Problem is, with everything that's going, oh, thank you, Lee. Not as big of a hot streak as you think. Not as big of a hot streak as you think. Still got a lot of debt. Still trying to prepare for my future, and trying to, you know, streamline, you know, a lot of my stuff. But I can't complain. I can't complain. You know, got my health, got my family, got all of you, got, you know, my wrestling. You know, I still don't understand. I still don't understand. I still don't freaking understand. Ring of Honor, MLW, Ring of Honor, MLW, Impact Wrestling, WWE, NXT, AEW, GCW, New Japan, Shimmer, NXT UK. There's about 30 awesome promotions out there. And because WWE sucks, you got people whining about wrestling isn't today. And it's that's because people out there only want to tweet fuck about Roman Reigns. That's what it is. They don't want to tweet fuck about Okada because it only give them 2 hits. They don't want to tweet fuck about what's her name that just signed with NXT UK. Oh my God, what is that woman's name? Oh, Stardom too. My mistake, Anthony. I thought I was cool to look this way to make it look like I'm not reading a list, and I forgot Stardom. But who's that female wrestler at WWE? Oh, Satomura. Satomura. You got to check out her work. I'm not trying to be controversial here. Satomura looks like a woman that works actually co-owner of a Chinese restaurant here in my neighborhood called Danny's Szechuan Garden. She looks like the co-owner of Danny's. And if you look at Satomura, she looks like a woman that if you ate in her restaurant and you said, look, you know, the duck's a little tough. And she'd be like, oh, duck a little tough. And she'd shove the duck up your ass, that it would come out your nose. You know, you ever hear that saying, if you were ever in a foxhole with someone and you could choose someone? If I had to choose a female, Satomura would be one of the first people on my list. She is badass. She is fucking awesome. Does she have the quintessential look of a WWE wrestler? No. In fact, she does, you know, have some age to her. But she is fucking phenomenal. You think about all of the talent in Japan, the UK, Australia, United States. I mean, and because that's why I say 2020 sucked for everybody. It physically hurt people. It emotionally hurt people. It killed people. But 2020 was as bad as you allowed it to be, if you weren't struck, obviously, with COVID. So many of you out there took 2020, which was absolute chicken shit, and did your best to turn it into chicken salad. We were talking about it last night. You look at Raquel Gonzalez. You look at Shotzi Blackheart. You look at Jungle Boy. You look at Thunder Rosa. I could probably, if I had the list of wrestlers across all the promotions, I could probably list 30 or 40 right now that are better off now in 2021 than they were January 1st, 2020. Not everybody sat home and sulked for a year. So 2020, for a lot of people, was as bad as you let it be. And 2021 hasn't changed for a lot of people, and that goes for wrestling. Wrestling is not going to be Attitude Era. Wrestling is not going to be in smoky buildings and locker rooms like Undertaker misses. Wrestling is now in 2021, and wrestling is different. It is different than it was 10 years ago. It is different than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And if people cannot adapt to that, now I'm not saying adapt like Kenny Omega adapt, like he thinks. Kenny Omega thinks that, you know, people need to start, you know, getting used to, no. That is a little bit different. But the point is that there is so much freaking wrestling out there to enjoy. And if you choose to only stick to WWE, NXT, AEW, and then go around and complain to everyone that wrestling sucks and, you know, they don't like and this and that. And meanwhile, you keep watching the same shit week after week after week. If I went to a diner in my neighborhood and I walked in there and I ordered eggs and there's something green in my eggs and it's not avocado and it tastes like horrible, like a foreign thing, I'm not going there again. If I go back there the following week to buy turkey, eat a turkey sandwich, and I bite into the turkey, and it feels like I bit into a chicken's foot, and it tastes like something is really wrong. And I'm like, oh, this sucks. I tell everybody on social media, this sucks. It's not the same. And then I go back there again the third week, and I order calf's liver, and it smelled like somebody just took a shit on my lap. And I keep going, who is the moron? Who is the moron? If you don't like the diner food, go somewhere else. But people stick to the same shit because they'd rather be miserable but have people talking to them. That is such a warped mentality. Guardian of Chaos, my Mount Rushmore of tag teams. It's very, very difficult to put 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 10s, and 20s together. If I were to take one from every decade as me being a wrestling fan, 70s I was still awfully young. So the 70s would be a little bit difficult for yours truly. 80s, if I had to choose one, 80s, as far as my favorites, this is not greatest tag teams of all time, but 80s, man, there's so many that were awesome, but I would go with the Road Warriors. I still remember going, this is God honest truth, I still remember going to a candy store, must have been 83. Remember going to a candy store to buy the latest Pro Wrestling Illustrated, I think it was. And it was an annual edition, and I think it said like Wrestling 83 or Wrestling 84 or something like that, and the Road Warriors on the cover. I'd never seen them before, bought the magazine, and man, I wanted to see their shit so bad. I live in New York. New York primarily was WWF. Yes, you had TBS and everything, but even when they were in AWA, I just was enamored by the Road Warriors. I still have the video of Road Warrior Hawk rapping. He actually rapped. It's probably on YouTube. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. But the Road Warriors, for me, the 80s, probably the Road Warriors. This is really, really difficult, man. Because the 90s, you could go one route and go, Mick Foley and Terry Funk because of what they did in Japan and ECW and other stuff. And then I could turn around and say DX. And then I could turn around and say, believe it or not, one of my favorite tag teams in the 90s was the Eliminators, John Cronus and Perry Saturn. Then I could go think of, Jesus Christ, the 80s, the Brainbusters. Brainbusters, I freaking loved. I can't do a Mount Rushmore. If I did a Mount Rushmore, I would probably have to do my favorites and do one Mount Rushmore for the 80s, one for the 90s, one for the 2000s. You give me until tomorrow. On tomorrow's show, I will give you a Mount Rushmore of my favorites from the 80s. I will give you 4 teams from the 80s, 4 teams from the 90s, 4 teams from the 2000s. By the way, we're going to do that contest soon, so get ready. It's going to be a Who Am I contest like the last 2 weeks. The hint that I will give you is that this person is a little bit older. This person can still wrestle. This person was seen on television within the last month. Might be on every single week. Can't say. But those are the only hints I will give you in advance. It is a Who Am I? And when we do it, the first person who gets the name right will win the Ronda Rousey photo. If I see someone else pop up with a name, if you want, I'll give you the Chris Candido book as a prize, like a runner-up. I have 10 of them. I got the boxes delivered today, so I know there's 1 or 2 that I'm sending out tomorrow. But so if a winner pops up in the chat, if I don't see anyone else picking the same name, I may let it go a couple extra seconds and give this away to someone else as like a runner-up prize. But if someone nails it and I start seeing the same name popping up, then we'll stop the contest. So, yeah, I got 10 of them. 10 of them. I'm going to read it. I already started reading it. I read about 20 pages of it. I know what you're going to say to me. Why do you keep doing this with the glasses? I think it's just a nervous habit. Like, part of me is saying, like, you look goofy wearing sunglasses at night. And then another part says, oh, I need glasses to read. So let's use the regular glasses. This way I don't have to keep taking them off. Do the regular glasses. I know it doesn't look sort of like a character, but I've read about 30 pages of the book so far. I'm already missing Chris Candido. I can't wait to have Johnny on. We're going to have some really fun conversation. And by the way, that Donversations, I already have graphics. Shaheen made some up for me. I'm not sold on it entirely. In fact, I might come up with a second name and rotate. So anyway, that prank call that I did for Ivan last week when I did the soundboard with Robert De Niro, like I said earlier, I found the one where I did the soundboard with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I was dating a girl about 20 years ago for about, I don't know, a couple of weeks total. Oh, Gabriel. Oh, all right, Roger. You didn't have to do that, Roger. But Gabriel, see, you gave me everything earlier but his name. So before I play that audio, Gabriel, congrats, man. Cal State Bakersfield. See, I don't even have to look at notes. So congrats, man. Tommy John surgery. You know, that's a perfect example of what I always say. You know, life feeds you, you know, crap. Try to make the best of it, man. Look at Cicely Tyson. She died today at the age of 96. God bless her. And there's a little video clip that's floating around that's about a minute long. And it's inspirational. And, you know, it's just, you know, life gives you a curveball. You know, try to turn it around. We all take steps back. Look at me. I look like a Simpson for the last year, people said on this show. Now I look like I need a suntan bed. You know, I mean, I'm obviously bad compared. My point is, you know, we all struggle and we all, you know, have our rock bottoms and we fall down. It's what you do to get yourself up. You know, I was talking to Lee, RCWR show earlier, and, you know, we were just having a conversation about things. But, you know, one thing that I absolutely love about that guy, and I know he's live right now also, is because that guy always takes initiative. And when I told him earlier that I fixed the colors on the camera, he's like, oh, I got these filters and I got this and I'll send it over to you. And he's always looking to improve, whether it's hobbies, real life, relationships, things. You know, you don't just sit on your laurels and just expect things handed to you. You know, I mean, the guy recovered from Tommy John surgery. You know, you think he did that by just sitting at home and have somebody fucking throw the ball for him? No, he busted his ass. He refused to be, you know, kept down. And now he's rewarded and going to Cal State, man. So congrats, Gabriel. And I really mean that, man. I really mean that. So good for you. Seriously, good for you. And I know Roger is awfully proud of you. I'm not proud of myself right now because 20 years ago, the in thing that everybody was doing was there were soundboards online. And I know a lot of you already know these, but 20 years ago, it was something that we had never really seen before. We've heard like Jerky Boys and other things like that. But what the soundboards were is people would take clips from different movies of the same actor, and they would put it on a soundboard. And you could download the soundboard, and depending on what key you pressed on your keyboard, it would play that sound. And some people decided to prank people, and they would prank call them up, and based on what the person was asking, you'd press the sound. In fact, here's a great example. I know not a lot of you live in New York, but for those that live in New York, you've had this happen to you. We get, and this has been going on for over a decade, every so often we get a phone call, and you pick up the phone, and someone says, this is Detective blah, 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 blah from the Police Benevolence Association, and we, you know, love to have your support, and this and that. And it's a pre-recorded soundboard. And the person will even say, hello? How many of you got the, because the prank calls right now are out of control. And I guarantee you about 99% of you tuning in live right now will, Kenny Bolin is a podfather, also never sleep. Kenny Bolin is good people. Kenny Bolin has earned the right of Podfather. So trust me, I know I call it Podfather because I've been doing this going on 25 years. Kenny Bolin's cool. In fact, I already talked to Mish. We are going to be doing an episode with Kenny Bolin very soon. Stay tuned. We're checking a lot of things. But so anyway, what I was saying is what was I talking about? So we were talking like, oh yeah, so 20 years ago, the Jerky Boys and everything like that. So nowadays, I'm sure about 99% of you out there are doing this. How many of you out there are getting crazy ass calls on your cell phone or your house? And when you look at the caller ID, the number is almost identical of what your phone number is. And they use that as a disguise. You think, oh, it's somebody from the neighborhood. You pick up, and it's pre-recorded stuff. It's a soundboard. Someone will say, hello? Yeah, who's this? This is Detective so-and-so from the police department. We would like to know if you'd like to contribute. What is your name again? And they push another thing. And then in case that someone tries to throw you a curveball, they'll say, well, if this is a live person, what's 2 + 2? And they'll press a button. 4. Why do you ask? It is, I will tell you, this has got to be a major story. What happened to all of these fines that they were giving out for robocalls? You call up, your car warranty is expired. You're this, your IRS. It's not even the Nigerian scams anymore. I get prank calls every fucking day. So the soundboards are nothing new, but 20 years ago, people would take a soundboard, there would be clips of an actor, actress, whoever it is, and depending on what the person answered on the phone, you'd press buttons. So I wanted to do it. I wanted to prank people. So I got the soundboard, and the first one I wanted to do was Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I was like, who can we call? Who can we call? I did Captain Ivan once, but girl that I was seeing for a very short period of time, I said, let me troll her. So I called her house, and I recorded it, and I played the Arnold buttons. And I didn't think I did too bad of a job, considering that, think of the computer equipment from 20 years ago and think of how primitive it was at that time. But I found the audio. So if you want to check out me calling someone that I had dated, and this is 20 years ago, it's a little bit of a clusterfuck, but you might still like it.
All right, let's see if she is home.
Hello?
Hello, cutie pie.
Who?
Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm a police officer.
Are you really?
I'm a cop, you idiot!
You're really funny.
What's the matter?
What's the matter? You're a loser.
Who are you?
Who are you?
John Kimball.
I've heard of her.
Yeah,
You really have a nice life, don't you?
trust me.
Trust you? Okay. You're a gangster now,
Stop whining!
huh? You go. You really are.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
Really? That's cool.
You son of a bitch!
Funny.
Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
My father's dead, you fucking jerk off, and if you fucking call my house again, I'll fucking find you and murder you, you fucking...
Stop it!
Go fuck yourself, you fucking loser.
Yeah. What's the matter?
What's the matter? I really would like to know what the fuck you are. But you know what? Not for nothing, it's okay, because I'll call the phone company in about 2 seconds and have your phone number.
I'm a cop, you idiot! Don't be ridiculous.
Excuse me?
Now, whatever your name is, get ready for the big surprise.
Excuse me?
Who are you?
Yeah, speak English. You really, whoever you are, really needs to get a license.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
You're a cop? That's nice. You can blow me. You're a fucking pig.
Do it now.
Yeah, okay.
You're a damaged goods lady.
Come to my fucking house. I'll blow you, you fucking sick motherfucker.
Fuck you.
Come on, come to my house. I'll fucking chop your fucking dick off and make you fucking eat it. And then I'll fucking shove it with your fucking asshole.
Shut up!
Ooh, tough guy. Why don't you fucking tell me your real fucking voice? Why don't you tell me your name, you fucking pussy?
What do you want?
What I want? I want you to get a fucking life, you pathetic piece of shit.
Ask your mommy.
Uh-huh. Wait till I find out who you are. Wait.
I'll call you back.
That went south awfully quick. Now, for people who are going to ask, I never told her. I never told her. Pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy. Might as well share a little more audio. All right, this is pretty disgusting. This is, and let me also remind everyone that all this audio that I have of Captain Lenny, this was stuff he left on my hotline. Every day, 10, 20, 30, 50 messages. Every day. it got so out of control that I started recording them and saving them because something told me that maybe we share it down the line. For some reason, after 9/11, he decided I added music to it. It's disgusting, but just to give you an idea how wacky this person is. Here you go.
16th message.
Oh, no. Yeah, I could share this. We could share this one now. This is just random stuff. Hold on.
18 a.m.
Yeah, brother. I will have a hotline forever, brother. You know why I broke away from Vinnie Mac? Well, figure it out, okay? I broke away from Vinnie Mac, but Vinnie Mac and Howie hung out with me last Friday night.
Message deleted. 25th message. 3:35 a.m. Friday.
I'm back with my SmackDown update. But I'm going to tell you something. Howie did my hotline and Vinny's hotline. How could he do that? He said he's a free agent. Anyway, Vinnie Mac taught me everything I know. Okay.
This is what it was like to be a wrestling hotline host 20 years ago.
Message deleted. 26th message. 3:51 a.m. Friday.
As far as being a black heart, I don't know what you're talking about. I respect you, I respect Matt, and I respect Brian. Okay, I think you guys have a great hotline. Why don't you talk about Howie? The guy that does Vinny's hotline and my hotline.
Jack Nicholson.
Whose side is Howie really on? Is he a black heart or what?
Message deleted. 27th message. 4:38 a.m. Friday.
You know, I want your people to vote on whose line should Howie be on, mine or Vinnie Mac's.
60th message. 6:18 a.m. today.
You know what? At least I can afford to go to WrestleMania, right? And I'm going to take a shower in Toronto, okay? I got news for you. I'm going to take a shower in Toronto, and at least I could afford to pay for my hotline, okay? And people have been calling me up. I'm out of plugs, okay? All right? Out of plugs. Hold on.
Message.
Listen to the times.
Second message. 7:02 a.m. today.
Did he ever sleep?
Hey, man, Zombie and Brian. What do you think about my new hotline? Why don't you give your opinion tonight at SmackDown? Captain Lenny's Pile Driver Hotline. That's, you're out. Just so foolish. Nobody.
I reversed it so that nobody would call the number.
By the way, I'll be headed to WrestleMania, and I'll be taking a shower over there in Toronto because no bus is coming back till the next day. So I have to stay over. I'll be taking a shower if you want to tell the fans.
I don't know why Toronto.
Message deleted. 71st message. 8:35 p.m. today.
I know one answer about the trivia contest, Anthony, is Liberace is one answer of a celebrity. So do I win? Do I go on? Do I move on? All right, have a good day, Anthony. Bye-bye.
That's made it
deleted.
6.
72nd message. 8:51.
72nd message.
Today.
See, Anthony, not to knock your hotline, but you shouldn't give out spoilers, especially about the hardcore. Right now I'm watching SmackDown, and I don't think it's fair that you give out spoilers. You know, SmackDown spoilers. If you disagree, tell me tonight. But on my hotline, I will never do that, okay? That's why I don't like to hear spoilers, okay?
Message deleted.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Pile Driver Hotline for Wednesday. My next update will be on Friday afternoon Friday afternoon. Okay, into the news. Jerry Lynn did an interview Wednesday on Wrestle This. Also, they had. Also, let me explain something to you, ladies and gentlemen. Also,
This is really his hotline at the time.
Edge didn't make the Canada show on Friday due to their plane problems. Also, ladies and gentlemen. And they showed a latex commercial for Trojan condoms to the fans. Now, suppose kids were watching this thing. What do you think about this? Give me your opinion at the end of this report. Also, ladies and gentlemen, what is your opinion of the dog taking a crap on Raw? You know, this is all
I guess that was Triple. No, it was Stephanie's dog. No, Triple H's dog.
You disrupt little kids' minds. I don't think it's fair. The dog taking crap. I know Stephanie is the head writer. I know Stephanie and Triple H, they go out together in real life. What's your opinion on that, fan?
No, I think that's when Triple H's dog took the shit, and Stephanie had had Jericho bring him outside. Jericho tied the dog to the limo, and then, was that it? I told you, I have hours of this stuff, hours. But I saved the best for last, everyone. I promise you I saved the best for last. One is will be disturbing, and then one will be the greatest promo that you'll ever hear cut by someone who's not a wrestler. By the way, if you want to hear how we used to have feuds at the time, for some reason, I told you, I'm looking for finding files that I haven't heard in over 20 years. This is about 20 years ago, and this was me challenging other hotlines to some type of trivia contest. It's only like a minute long, but just to show you how I used to troll hotlines back in the day. Check this one out.
All right, we're calling it now.
Hi, and welcome to the Triple Threat Hotline with your host, Brian, Mike, Captain Ivan, and myself, Jamie. Just like to let all my callers know, Shane Douglas versus Ric Flair is in a deadlock. They both have 20 votes apiece.
Hey, what's up, robots? This is Anthony the Funker for the Extreme Black Hearts Forum. How's it going? Heard your poll match over there was in a deadlock, 20 votes to 20 votes. I don't know how you can get 20 to 20 when you don't get 40 callers, but I'll give you my vote now since I am calling. I give it a draw, so maybe that'll help decide it. Anyway, just to make light on the whole thing that's going on in the hotline world right now, I know for a fact that you heard our challenge yesterday for our little game show that we're going to be doing for the entertainment of the callers called The Weakest Mark. Obviously, all the hotline hosts that feel that they know the business will participate, and basically what we will do is we will ask each other questions about the wrestling business. Nothing extremely difficult, just basic questions over the last 10 years, and we'll prove to the callers out there as to who is actually a hotline host and who is none other than the weakest mark and just somebody that just reads news off a website and honestly, like Matt said yesterday, doesn't deserve to be a fucking hotline host. So anyway, we have yet to hear a challenge from you, so please give us a call. Everyone else does it, 718-303-4444. Please just let us know if you're going to participate in this. It is free, and we will be asking each other questions. Just leave a message and let us know. And Ivan, you're my friend, and not for nothing, you could prove to all the callers you're not just a reader off the Internet. So please, Jamie, you could show your boyfriend that you have the balls to show why you deserve to be a hotline host. And Mike, you could have some balls and show your girlfriend that you really know something about the wrestling business. And prove to the callers that you're not the weakest mark. Take care, robots.
I did a thing back then called The Weakest Mark, and I'm sure a lot of you remember it, but yeah, The Weakest Mark. We played clips of all the wrestling hotlines at the time to show how horrible they were. But since we're staying in the retro mood, I'll play you 2 more audio clips, and then that's it for the night. I'll play the disturbing one first, and then I'll play you, I think it's epic. Epic. So, I apologize for this.
This goes out to all the dead mothers.
Now, let me just add one thing to this. When he left this on my hotline, there was no music. I put music in the background. And I tried my hardest to sync up the music to what he was doing. So when you hear the speeds change, it's only because it's trying to keep the same pace of him. So, and I didn't do this recently. This is like 20 years ago.
This goes out to all the dead mothers out there. The dead mothers that step on their husbands. Their dead husbands, the cockroaches all around the world. Oh, say, can you see? I want you to play it on your report tonight. By the Dr. Lee Nick Nazi. was so proudly we hail at the twilight last gleaming, hoop of stripes and bright stars through the peril of Mars.
Mars!
For Nick Nazi and the Fat Bunker are the same person. Oh, stank and do-do-do-do, bum, 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 bum. For the bread, do-do-do-do, and the home of the bread.
Wasn't that bad, but the beginning was pretty rough, right? All right. By the way, I don't know if you saw that photo I put up accidentally. We'll do that in a moment. But I got to share this with you. And like I said, I have hours, tens of hours of this stuff. I found this. This is the first time anyone has heard this in about 20 years. I personally think the guy could cut a damn good promo. This is Twisted.
I've got the wedding bell blues, oh yeah. You know what? I will be in Denver on that 11:30 Friday night bus. So Howard Weiner, if you have the balls, I challenge you. Meet me at Game 7-Day. Why don't you buy your 7-day ticket in advance this Friday for $178. Oh, I forgot. Your SSI doesn't cover it. See, I got another income. I've got a hot dog card, motherfucker. Of course, the other captain won't come because he ain't got the funds like I do. You see, I just took a shit in the toilet. I'm eating filet mignon yesterday at the wedding in Long Island. But you know what? I am the best, motherfuckers. I am the best. And you know what? 7 pay-per-views, Howie. 7 pay-per-views. And you could tell your boys any day that I would be at Vengeance. I would be there. Vengeance. Vengeance! Do you know? Vengeance! Do you know what vengeance means? Vengeance. Vengeance. Vengeance, Howie. Vengeance. Vengeance! Vengeance! What does that mean, man? Do you know what vengeance means, Howie? Vengeance, the one you got vengeance on me that time. Remember your vengeance last May? Remember, scumbag, when Brooklyn came, boy? You remember your vengeance? And I'm going to tell you something. You have mental problems. Because Billy J said you're a mental case. Do you understand? You are no good because Brodie Lee said you are on medication. You are a sick boy, Howie. You don't have no autographs. Brodie Lee said you never had an autograph. So tonight, I will spike you in a mother line, because you are a motherfucker and you went on Brodie Lee's line. So fuck me up that time. That's why I'm a hot line. So I'll spike Brodie Lee. That's why all these fuckers. I'm gonna spike you and have my line forever. And you know, I sent another payment in just to spike you and Brodie Lee. Because I'm gonna say something. My hotline will continue forever. Do you understand, motherfuckers? My hotline will continue forever. Will continue forever and ever. And I don't give a shit. You never had Catherine Hepburn's autograph. You never had any autographs. Show me the autographs, you scumbag, Howie. Because you know what? The autograph you had was a Nathan's hot dog in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. But I'll spike you, Howie, and I'll have my line forever and ever and ever and ever. And I'll spike motherfuckers that don't have the life. and I want to sing you a little song to commemorate it. Oh, a cement of a muzzle tub, a cement of a muzzle tub, cement of a muzzle tub, a cement of a muzzle tub. Yes, on you, Shema Yisrael, you should get blood. You know what, Howie? You know what spitefulness? Because I don't bring people shirts to fucking people that talk shit about me and don't want to be my friend afterwards. I'll never, ever buy anybody a fucking shirt. Do you understand? Not even for vengeance, motherfuckers. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
The best part is at the end, after he destroys him, he's like, have a good day. Bye-bye. Just seriously, I know this is a little twisted. Just whenever we play these in the future, just keep reminding yourself, I didn't record these from his hotline and save them. This is what I found on my voicemail for years and years. I have a file that I haven't even gone through yet that's about 2 hours long. And it's just me clearing out the voicemail. And it's just this over and over. Oh, some of this. Just imagine doing a wrestling hotline, getting messages from real people, leaving their comments, talking wrestling, talking about other things. And then you get 40, 50, 60 of these. He's still alive, the people had asked. He's still alive. Devin, it's okay. He's saying like 20 people logged off because I played that. That's okay. That's all right. A lot of people want to check that out. And I think a lot of people also want this sign Ronda Rousey. So let's do this right now. Get your typing hands ready. It is a Who Am I? First person that gets it right. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you live 5 minutes from me or 5 million miles away. I ship to everyone. It is a Who Am I? And there's a lot of little tidbits about this person's career that obviously I'm not getting into. I'm just getting into a couple of bullet points, and we'll see if somebody can figure it out. Michael, if you win, you want to give it to someone else in the chat, by all means, my friend. That's very, very thoughtful of you. All right. I am a wrestler. I started my wrestling career as a referee. Okay? I'm just leaving it. I started my wrestling career as a referee. I'm almost the same age as Don Tony, just a few years older. I started wrestling on and off for the WWF in 1992, but I didn't debut on TV until 16 months later. I have held over 80 titles in my career. None of them are the 24/7 championship. I probably dislike Franklin D. Roosevelt, but I know I like Quick Draw McGraw. I'm in multiple Pro Wrestling Hall of Fames. A is a very lonely letter in my name. I'm hoping to have a match in 2021, which would make it 5 decades that I have wrestled. Like actor David Krumholtz, who recently played the fake Drew McIntyre on Raw, I had a small cameo in the movie Life with Mikey, starring Michael J. Fox. Nobody has gotten this yet. I will give the last hint. And when I give the last hint, somebody will get it. I am the only person that's been in both the Bullet Club and the NWO. Come on, somebody's going to get it. I'm the only person that has been in both the NWO. There we go. We got a winner. We got a winner. We got a winner. We have a winner. We have a winner. We have a winner. Okay. Kevon Lewis, I give you the book if you want it. I got to scroll back. Dynasty 215. You got it right. I thought people were going to get it when I said A is a lonely letter in my name. Jeff Jarrett, the letter A is the only letter that is once in his name. Because when they do J-E-F-F-J-A-R-R-E-T, he's got 2 of every letter except for the letter A. Come on, I think this is pretty good. I made this up myself. You know, I try to think of someone and I try to get little tidbits. Not like really difficult, but I had a feeling the Bullet Club NWO one would have gave it away. So, Dynasty wants the book instead. Yeah, Dynasty. I'll give you the book. Absolutely, man. I'll give you the book. Just email me, dontony@dontony.com. And, yeah. Jonathan Flores, you got it right also? I know Jonathan doesn't lie. Oh, so Jonathan, oh, wait a minute. Did Jonathan Flores get it first? No, Jonathan Flores, Nick Patrick, Jerry Lawler, Drake. I'm going back where we're being... Okay, we're in Captain Lenny territory now. So let's see. Jonathan Flores has Drake, Nick Patrick, Jerry Lawler, Undertaker, Jerry Lawler again, oh, okay. No, wait a minute. No, Jonathan, you get the book. Scroll up. You see Dynasty is near the top, and then yours is there. So what are we doing? Are we giving 3 books away? Are we giving 3 books away? So you mean to tell me we're not going to give this away? Should we do this again tomorrow? So I'll give away 3 books then. So we'll do, should we do it again tomorrow or we do it again Monday? I don't know. Should we do it Monday? Devin M says Rhonda. Devin, that's up to, honestly, that's up to Dynasty, Devin. If Dynasty says yes, I'll give it to you, Devin. You know? But I want you 3 to definitely email me, dontony@dontony.com, with your, not only your shipping address, your name. Because a lot of people who give me their addresses for the prizes, they never leave their name. So that's up to him. So if he says yes for the Rhonda photo, you know, and don't feel obligated. If he's like, no, I'll take the photo, then you get the photo. No, we gotta give the photo away. Yeah. Dynasty, that's up to you, my brother. So if he's still around. I'll definitely send you the book, but you got to let me know about the Rhonda photo, what we do with that. So anyway, so I thought it was a pretty good one. Thought it was pretty good. Okay. All right. So that's pretty awesome, man. Dynasty is giving the Ronda Rousey photo to Devin, and he's taking the book. So just email me. I'll get him out tomorrow. Email me tonight. I'll get him out tomorrow or Monday. So congrats. Congrats again. Hey, just for a little fun, I'm curious because somebody sent me this earlier today and I laughed my ass off because if anybody knows about a couple of wrestlers that still have me banned on social media, it figures that this result ended up being that wrestler. But for anyone out there, I'll put the chat back up in a second, but check this out. It's the birthday scenario game. You pick your month, you pick your date of birth, and then whatever that result is, that is yours. Now, for those, don't type yours yet, but for those out there that are curious, my birthday is March 27th. So if you look at this, that means I won the world title from none other than Zack fucking Ryder. The first guy to ever ban me on social media, Steve Austin was a close second. But, yeah, I won the title from Zack Ryder. Out of everybody, I get Zack Ryder. Go figure. So I'm curious, chat room. Let's put this back up. Post yours. I know the print is a little bit small if you have a little computer. I got to learn to enlarge these a little bit. But, yeah, just type the phrase. Whatever it says next to the month and whatever it says next to the date, that's what you put. See, like Sterling, he wrote, attacked by Dolph Ziggler. That's pretty cool. All right, Michael Gonzalez is inducted in the Hall of Fame by The Undertaker. Kevon Lewis managed Jon Moxley. Sam got eliminated by Cody Rhodes. Roger Rubio had a Hell in a Cell with Sheamus. I don't know. I never got into these, but I saw this one and the outcome. I'm like, I actually think these are pretty funny. Wow, SoFly cashed in the money in the bank on Luke Harper. No, can't say it. Neil was inducted in the Hall of Fame by The Miz. Austin saved Triple H. I'm sorry, my friend. But that's cool. JL got the tag team with Luke Harper. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. So I figured I'd put it up. Why not? Just for a couple of quick laughs. But anyway, how long are we going so far? It is 11:48. Gone about an hour and almost 45 minutes. So, maybe we should start wrapping this up a little bit. I do want to mention quickly the ratings. Give me partial credit. Yesterday when I did Wednesday Night Dynamite, I said the ratings were going to be... Now, I was off, but the combination I'm pretty impressed with. Last night, I said AEW would get 841, NXT would get 611, and the total viewership, if you add those two, would be 1,452,000 viewers. 1,452,000. The actual rating was 1,454,000. I missed the total combined by 2,000. So when we were talking yesterday and saying that they'll get about 1.45 million viewers, that's what happened. The thing is, the discrepancy of AEW's rating was the big deal here. I'm very curious to see what the quarter-hour ratings are going to be. The actual ratings from yesterday, AEW 734, NXT 720. AEW beat NXT by only 14,000 viewers. I'm not trying to be controversial. And I'm not going to take, poke fun at this, because I'm enjoying wrestling on Wednesday nights. Absolutely enjoying wrestling on Wednesday nights. But this is a good example of what you and I have been saying now for the last 6 weeks. And a lot of it has been the inner circle. And you see a lot of storylines, if you really want to be specific, 7 weeks. You cannot get crazy-ass ratings simply because of the names you have on your shows. If that was the case, TNA would not have had such a dramatic drop in viewership. WCW in the year 2000 would not have had such a... They still had big time names. It is got to be more than just your favorites. You cannot get lazy. You cannot jump the shark. You might get away with it in WWE because their roster is 5 times, 10 times the number. Maybe that's kind of exaggerating, but AEW, they better start taking note of this. I don't think this is a case of NXT being spectacular. I really don't. NXT for the last couple of weeks. Do you remember 2-3 weeks ago when we were talking about Everrise and a few others, Jake Atlas and others, nothing against them personally, but they're trying to push a lot of these wrestlers they have on TV now. And a lot of people will change the channel and never turn back. Remember when we were talking about movies and other stuff, you change the channel and it lands on it and you just watch it? So WWE is now fixing some of their mistakes. AEW has been extremely Bush League with their storylines. Like I said, yesterday was the perfect example. Last week, and how many weeks have we talking about this with the Inner Circle? They go to Las Vegas. 2 weeks later, we need to have a big ultimatum in the ring. If we're not on the same page, then we're splitting up. And then Jake Hager fights Wardlow. Then a week later, we're a cohesive unit. And then the following week, 3 tag teams fight each other. We just got to get it out of our system. What happened last week? Sorry, diehard AEW fans, you cannot defend this one. Last week, the main event was the Inner Circle 3 tag team match. The winner of that match goes on to pursue the tag titles. Are we right? Yesterday, they announced all 3 tag teams of the Inner Circle are in the Battle Royal for a title shot. That storyline last week, out the door. Jon Moxley, Wrestler of the Year. Yes, we're in COVID, still Wrestler of the Year. Came into AEW with a veracity, a fire, attitude, boasted how important the AEW title is. Nothing else matters. Has a match with Kenny Omega, gets screwed, and instead of the following Wednesday, first person you see on TV is Moxley. I'm not leaving this goddamn ring until that son of a bitch gets out here. If he doesn't come out there, I'm going to look for him. They could have easily had Moxley punch an official, deck Tony Khan if they wanted to go that route. Jon Moxley could have caused chaos on that episode, and Tony Khan would have been forced to suspend Moxley in storyline for 30 days. Get him off TV, makes sense, doesn't hurt his character. Instead, after he loses to Kenny Omega, he goes home for 6 weeks. Just goes home. I mean, what are we supposed to say? Oh, well, Renee got pregnant, so it's okay to have totally fuck up his character because she got pregnant, so we can get past that. No. When it's on the television, you're supposed to forget about real life for 2 fucking hours. And they have hurt Moxley so bad. People out there, because they get their hand jobs from AEW, they get their hand jobs from individual wrestlers, they get part of video podcasts and stuff like that, and they'll never have the balls to say, look, not for nothing, but this is not good, this is not good. No, everything is wonderful. It's fucking wonderful. Everything is so goddamn great. Those are the people that will hurt your promotion the most because they see everything as cake and ice cream. You need to look at a lot of these negatives. We said it for every goddamn week since Sting came in. Sting enters the ring, Team Taz, fucking Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, Hobbs. I mean, 2 of them are monsters. Snow comes down and they run away like rats. Like, oh my God, there's a cat in the building, let's run away. They don't see it that way because they're surrounded. See, Vince McMahon had his yes men back then. He had his yes men, and Vince McMahon would shower himself and block everyone else out and just have his yes men to say yes to him. AEW has a boatload of yes men on social media, and they will make it seem like it's the greatest thing ever. And meanwhile, you have a multi-billion-dollar company that, in a snap of a finger, could throw a bunch of wrestlers that are on Raw and SmackDown and throw them into NXT for a couple of months and fucking grab your viewers and keep throwing good shit out there. Those viewers never come back. That's why WCW went in a year and a half out of business. I'm not saying AEW's got out of business. Absolutely not. I'm not. There is a shitload better about AEW than WCW's final days. But if people out there think that Moxley wasn't damaged over the last 2 months, that the Sting stuff has not ruined some of what's going on with Team Taz, if you don't think the Inner Circle stuff has been totally fucking messy for the last 6+ weeks, If you think that anybody gives a shit about some of the people that they insist they want to put on their TV as a reward, this is the result. This is the result. I just, sorry. I know there are people out there on both sides that go to the extremes. You have podcasters that will praise every fucking thing about AEW. This is epic, 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 epic. Then you got people on the opposite side. AEW sucks. Kenny Omega is a joke. This sucks. This is garbage. This is that. You have to look at it in the middle. You have to look at it in the middle. AEW has a lot of good content, talent. But you can't blame it on COVID. There is something the last 2 months. Papo said it yesterday, Papo Jr. in the chat. Miro's whole character since he's been in AEW is the best man. That's his entire character, the best man. Next week, we're having a wedding on Dynamite. And AEW doesn't have the brain cells to say, oh my God, his character is the best man. He's going to get married next week. We got to show footage of a bachelor party. And I said they could have spoofed it. They could have had video games. They could have had Mario stripping. They could have done so much comedy stuff. But no. Instead, we'll put some of the stuff that we had yesterday. No excuse. No excuse. But I will repeat what I said before. I do not think, look, I was within 2,000 of the combined number. I said they're going to do 1.45 million. I said 1.452. It was 1.454. But you're now seeing people changing the channel from AEW to NXT, and they're not changing it back. That's why the quarter-hour ratings tomorrow are going to be extremely interesting. We got to see. I mean, I think we could all agree that the main event in NXT probably, got a really nice rating. But again, AEW, they better start being concerned about this. They better start being concerned because they're not poking a bear. If you notice, give AEW credit for this. They're not taking shots at WWE like they used to when they first started. But they need people in the back to fucking start calling this shit out. I mean, it feels like a really tight-knit family, and that is a very good thing. But they need people in the back that goes against this and say, look, how do we have this guy? His whole character is the best man, and we don't do a bachelor party? That's what the best man does. He gets a bachelor party. We don't even think of doing that. The Inner Circle, we just went to Las Vegas, and 2 weeks later, we're teasing that we're going to split up. And then 2 weeks later, we're a cohesive unit. Then 2 weeks later, we're wrestling each other. After a week earlier, we said that we have to be a cohesive unit. And the worst part, last week, the main event, the winning team goes on to pursue tag titles, and now all three fucking teams are in the Battle Royal. No excuse for that shit, man. No excuse. No excuse whatsoever. None. And it's sad because more people should be speaking out like this. But you see what goes on online. I always talk about social media, that people will write whatever they can to get attention. You see it in podcasts as well with this. Instead of having a little bit of kahunas and say, look, blah, 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 blah. No, they'll use amazing. 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 That was amazing. Amazing. I was yelling at my TV. I was crying. It was amazing. It was epic. It was unbelievable. It's so entertaining. You're fucking hurting this product. You're hurting this product. And a lot of people do not want to speak out because then they lose the attention. They lose whatever connection they feel intimately with these promotions. That's why, and I will say it, I don't mind saying it, that's why almost none of these promotions out there ever give us any love whatsoever. Never did. But you know who gives us love besides all of you out there? A lot of the individual wrestlers. Mish knows I don't name drop people unless they want to publicly talk about what we do. But I show Mish every so often. Mish, check it. You see this email we got? You see that DM we got? You see this? Do you see that? You see this? And it's individual wrestlers that wrestle on TV. Yo, man, love your stuff. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep your eyes on the prize. Like Guardian Chaos says, and a lot of people say privately, they appreciate the hustle. And that's not a bad thing. So the promotions overall won't give any play because they know that we'll call them out for something that is negative. JD has this thing about him that everybody thinks everything he says is negative. He praises a boatload of what he sees on TV, but he calls out what is the negative. And that's why a lot of promotions don't give him much attention. Local does, but individual wrestlers do. That's how the game plays. You know, people will succumb because the attention and the connection and the feel like they're part of something. You know, a lot of you out there, me and others, you think we're part of a wrestling family of any of these promotions out there? They don't want us, because if we speak out and make sense, then other people may be like, I didn't think about it like that. And that starts a chain reaction. Again, I know not everybody out there likes when I do the quarter-hour ratings. Some people find it boring. I respect that. But now you see months and months and months why I do the quarter-hour ratings. And I told you all about 6 weeks ago that you're starting to see the trend of fans changing the channel. Up until 6 weeks ago, you'd see it once in a while. You see a quarter hour where you see a big jump here and a big decline here, and there's usually something very important on one side. But now you're consistently seeing certain trends. I don't need to be a Meltzer. I don't need to be a Keller. I don't need to be a Mike Johnson. I don't need to be part of Nielsen. You know, like I said, the only people that should be talking about demos are the promotions themselves and the advertisers and the cable networks. You'll have people spin this and say, yeah, but AEW is number 3 in the demographics. It doesn't fucking matter. 300,000 less people are watching your product. That's 3. You don't tell me, well, it's 300,000 people, but only 61,000 are 18 to 34. It doesn't fucking matter. You have less people watching your product. And the people that are watching your product might not feel as strong about your product now than they did a couple of months ago. So even if you still get 100,000 viewers at 18 to 34, that doesn't mean that there are 100,000 ecstatic AEW viewers. They might be just holding on. And one more bullshit thing might get them to change the channel. It's a big difference. I could say, I'm in a relationship. How many of you out there, you don't have to say it publicly, how many of you out there right now are married or have a partner, and you could tell everyone, yeah, I'm married. Oh, yeah, I'm dating someone. But we don't know if it's a strong bond or if you're on the cusp of just splitting up. There's only one status, single, involved, I guess you could call it. You know, there is no rating called It's Complicated. So these people will spin demos. I don't fucking spin demos. I don't spin demos because you can't gauge how strong those viewers are that are still watching this stuff. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. You know, if you agree, disagree, you know, speak up, man. I love always reading your comments and everything, but, you know, to me, I think it's a big deal. So, anyway, before we go, once again, much love, Guardian of Chaos. He's been knowing of my work for 20 years. He was honored to work with Chris Candido, and yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be really wonderful. I mean, look, Johnny Candido is going to be doing the interview circuit. He's going to be interviewed by a lot of people. And I know they're all going to be spectacular. We already talked about it. He and I were going to do something 2 years ago, and we didn't, obviously for various reasons. But I had already told him, I said, look, when we talk, I don't want it to be an interview. I want us to just have a conversation. Talk some stories about Chris. I get to say a couple of things publicly about my friendship with him privately. Tell a couple of stories that people may have never heard before, and I know definitely have not heard before. We're also going to pay tribute to a couple of Chris's friends who died that didn't get the attention that they should have. He's going to tell some hilarious freaking stories about Balls Mahoney. You know, a lot of people forget that I went to the church to pay respects, and Georgianne Micropolis went as well. And I got to the church. I got there a few minutes late. I called up Frank Goodman, and I'm like, Frank, I'm in front of the church. They're already in the middle of the thing. I feel really awkward just walking in. I open that freaking giant door. It's going to make this loud noise. Everybody's going to turn around and be like, you know? And I sat in my car, and I drove back home, and I was kind of like choked up. Yeah, I mean, I was happy that I drove all the way, you know, to the church, but I got there late, and I felt like an idiot walking into the church late. So I went back home. He knows that. So we're going to have just a regular casual conversation, tell a couple of stories, laugh a little bit, you know, and that's all we're going to do. So, but Danny Morgan, I've already told Mish. I can't remember the gentleman's name that passed away. I actually do have his photo here still, because I really like enjoyed his work, and I kept some of his info. Oh man, I'm trying to find it. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. I have things so scattered in this computer, it's not even funny. But what was his name again? That gentleman that did the previews for Impact for the pay-per-views. I can't remember his name. But I already said Mish would be a perfect fit to do voiceovers for pay-per-views. He's got that deep voice. He's very smooth speaking, you know, when needed. I mean, when we do the shows, we don't really get into, you know, we don't have to be precise with our English. Trust me, the way I talk over here, I don't talk that same way when I'm in my office. VJ's asking, which Dark Side of the Ring episode am I most interested in seeing? Probably the Pillman episode. I know a lot of you out there probably would say the XPW one for obvious reasons. Shout out to Nate. What's going on, Nate? Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. Hopefully you're enjoying the show, and hopefully everything is good with you. You know, a lot of crazy shit still going on, so I hope everything is well. Thank you, Nate, for that. Barry Scott. Thank you, Barry Scott. Lee, Dorian. That's the gentleman that passed away. That, I mean, I played that Martin Luther King, you know, speech that he did. I had chills. One of my most proudest moments doing these shows, playing that clip, because I watched the chat room as this was going on, and people were just so silent, not bored, but just in awe. And you go back and look at that episode and just look at the chat room right after the speech was done. It really, like, it was powerful. That man was tremendous. Wasn't just the pay-per-view, you know, hype, you know, like with his voice. He did a lot. Very renowned in his work. I think Mish would be ideal for that, man. Yeah, Bob Shepard loved his stuff at Yankee Stadium. Loved his stuff. It was a little awkward at first after he passed, and I went to the stadium a couple of times. Now batting, number 2, Derek Jeter, number 2, after he was deceased. But you got used to it. You got used to it after a while. By the way, when we get into March and April, we'll start incorporating some baseball talk on this stuff. Like I said, I want to have at least one night where we could talk about anything. Anything. And Thursdays seem to be fitting that mold. Now, I will let everybody know. I was just going to get into it, Michael. I'm going to launch the memberships in a day or two, over the weekend. I don't want anybody to think that you have to sign up for it. All it is, really, is, you got emojis. You get like a banner next to your name. When you become a member, it has this big announcement in the chat area. What we're also going to do is we're going to do something where we'll have like an exclusive Q&A once a month, almost like one-on-one. I was talking to Mish about things, but the one thing we didn't want to do is we didn't want anybody to feel like because they don't become a member that they're missing out on stuff. It's more of the opposite. That, see, me, this is the best way I could put it. Me, when I order food and gets delivered to my house, I don't care if it's in a styrofoam container. I don't care if there's plastic forks. There's some people out there that it's got to be a foil thing, and it's got to, you got to use real silverware, and you can't use like the packet of salt and pepper. They got to use the real thing. Like, no, I'm satisfied with what you give me. But if some people out there want a little bit more here and there, that's what it's going to be. But it's more just like visual than anything else. But we're definitely going to do call-ins. We're probably going to start off on, just as a practice, probably on the membership thing. Not that it's going to be an official show, but the last thing we want to do is try to take calls live on like Monday or after a pay-per-view. Oh, shit. I almost forgot. Mish and I are seriously considering doing a watch-along this Sunday for the Royal Rumble. I have never done a watch-along on YouTube other than the political debate, and that was a disaster. The debate was a disaster, which made the episode a disaster. But Mish and I, a lot of people have been asking about watch-alongs. Probably more than anything else, people have been saying, you guys got to do watch-alongs. What I am trying to find out, and I think I have my answer, I just haven't checked my emails yet. I'm trying to find out that if the audio for the Royal Rumble is playing in the background, not in the computer, but if it's like in the other room or the back of my room and you hear it very, very faintly, is that going to be an issue? From what I understand, that is not going to be an issue. But we're thinking about it. You got to understand, and this is the only reason why we're not 100% certain yet. It's going to be 3 hours, maybe longer. And then we're supposed to do a recap show after. Now, I don't know if I'm doing a recap show with him or if he's going to do Soup with Joey Numbers. But, there's going to be a recap show Sunday as well. So it's going to be a lot to do a watch-along for 3-4 hours and then do a recap show for an hour, hour and a half right after that. That's going to be a hell of a lot of sitting over here. I'm sure during it, if I'm doing it with him, like I could go get something to drink, stretch my legs, take a leak, and he could have the helm for a little bit. But, Lee is saying it won't get into trouble. I had a few people that were telling me, look, if you keep the volume, because I have a laptop right next to me. Right here. You could hear it. You can't see it. I have a laptop right here. When I used to record Kevin Castle for his Patreon shows, I had to use a second computer. And this computer now is free. So I could probably put the Royal Rumble on that computer because obviously I need to watch it while we're doing this. So I'll probably put the Royal Rumble on this laptop, keep the volume low so you could hear it a little bit, but Mish and I obviously will dominate the sound. So it's not 100%. It's not 100%, but I will tell you we're more than likely going to do a watch along. So I will let everybody know by Saturday at the latest, maybe tomorrow when I do the Don Tony show. And yeah, we'll hype it up with links and everything. No, SoFly, I definitely would like to do a recap show. I actually, you know what? That's not a bad idea, man. That is not a bad idea when you think about it. Because if we did a watch along, we would give instant reactions while the match is going on. And we would have real time. So why would we? You know what? You nailed it. There's no reason for us to do a recap show after it, because while we're doing a watch along, if we do a recap show after, we're pretty much recapping our reactions. So yeah. The more I think about it, the more I'm liking it. I like the idea. We'll do a watch along. This way, when the pay-per-view is done, we're done. Yeah. So, you know what? I will let you know by tomorrow night, for sure. I will tell you right now, it's about 75% definite. Once I explain it to Mish, I'm sure Mish will probably still do a Wrestling Soup recap, because Joey Numbers does this show with him, and he's not going to leave Joey Numbers hanging. But doesn't mean I have to. So, yeah, I could almost guarantee you we'll be doing a watch-along right here on Sunday. And the cool thing about it is I can, incorporate the chat somewhere on the screen so we can put up some comments. And, yeah, Chaos, we're definitely going to get together again. I mean, we got together a couple of times the last couple of years, but, yeah, you want to get together and others. As soon as this shit gets a little bit more in check, we're definitely having some get-togethers. I'm already looking into Mania. But in New York, absolutely. Pennsylvania, Jersey, absolutely. So, yeah, once, let's get more people vaccinated in this country. I truthfully believe, and I'm not just saying this, I truthfully believe by June, there'll be so many people vaccinated that we won't have to worry about this much anymore. I really do. I believe that. They're averaging 1 million plus people a day. In about a month, that's going to be ramped up to 2.5 million people a day. People need to remember, and this is probably the most important thing I could say about this with wrestling. I told you recently that even if wrestling comes back to the arenas half full, that's what a lot of promotions were doing before COVID even struck. So it'd be normal for them. But, when you hear that, there's 10 million people that could be vaccinated right now but can't because there's no doses, that's actually not true. Because of those 10 million people, 3 to 4 million do not want to be vaccinated. So you can't go by the overall number and say, oh, well, it'll take, because that's what they're doing right now. They'll say, oh, at 1 million people right now, it'll take 300 days to vaccinate everyone. About 80 million Americans probably don't want to be vaccinated. So you see how people skew the numbers to make it more dramatic. By June, it's not going to be back to normal. It's going to take years to get everything back to normal with businesses and livelihoods and, bills and debt. It's going to take years. Without a doubt, it's going to take years. But as far as being able to get together and have a couple of beers and just talk and hang out and laugh, summertime for sure. Absolutely summertime for sure. And yes, we are doing virtual Zooms. I've already talked to Mish about doing like an AEW heels type thing. And we're not biting off of AEW heels because I said it on this show about 9 months ago that I wanted to do a Zoom thing where we have like 10, 20, 30 people on the camera and we just hang out and just chat about whatever. We were going to do it on Patreon. Problem is not everybody was doing video, and then the logistics were kind of tough and it never panned out. But we have a lot of things that we're working on. And believe me, I tell you, it's not hype. I know you all deal with people that will just hype. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And then a month goes by, 3 months go by, 6 months go by, and then nothing. Everything I say that we're working on. And you'll see some of those results by this weekend. So, but yeah, look, I have the upgraded Zoom subscription. I haven't used it yet. Julian, I don't remember his last name, Cannon. I think his last name is Fabulous, like covering like entertainment and stuff like that. I gave him my login. I'm like, use it. And he does like he was the one that did the trivias a few times. If anybody ever saw the trivias we did last year with the wrestling that I was on, like the Jeopardy style, Julian Cannon, yes. So, I have the advanced Zoom that you could have more people on. I haven't used it yet. I have it probably about 5 or 6 months. I gave him the login to use it whenever he wants. So I think it's about time I start using it, right? So anyway, with that said, yeah, 50 at once, man. I'm fine with it, man. I'm fine with it. We do 50 people at once. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm not going to restrict it to just memberships. Like I said, I promise you all. Look, I said with commercials, one of the things early on this YouTube channel, because it's still a learning process for me, one of the things was I didn't want people to get inundated with commercials. And, people were getting inundated with commercials. I didn't have the settings right. People were getting them like every couple of minutes. And then it got to a point that I said, look, I don't want people to have to deal with commercials. So I put the settings where there's only at the beginning of the video and at the end of the video. But during the video, 0. And I had people telling me, you're out of your mind. There's a lot of ad revenue that you're losing as a result. Well, okay, so I'll do some memberships in place of it to compensate for that. So like I said, in the end, everybody benefits. And we'll see where it goes. If it sucks, then it sucks. Thunder or Blunder. What's up, man? Haven't talked to you in a while. Any thoughts on the GCW 24-hour event tomorrow? I love the idea. Wrong weekend, in my opinion. I'm going to watch little drips of it, but Royal Rumble, even if you don't do a podcast, even if you don't do a website, Royal Rumble is a big night. You start, you're hanging out, even if you're not with friends, you start talking to your friends, you get junk food and stuff like an hour before, and then you so emotionally invested. I mean, yeah, we're not going to hear it in the crowd. Trust me, it'll have a lot of, voiceover. You'll hear the countdown. You will hear loads of fans. 5, 4. It's going to be loud as fuck Sunday. Nobody's talking about that stuff, but that's something that WWE's been practicing the last couple of days. Now you'll see Ringside News write an exclusive today that they're practicing the soundboard and the loud countdowns. Nonsense. To me, that's not news. To me, that's just like, oh, cool. You broke it here. It's like I've said since 97. I don't want to be first. I want to be right. But, you're emotionally invested in a Royal Rumble. Who comes out at number 1? Who comes out at number 30? Who's going to win the Rumble? I'm doing my predictions tomorrow, by the way. And remember, last year, 2 months before the Rumble, my prediction was Drew McIntyre winning the Royal Rumble and winning the title. Even people who do shows that dislike me now, even admitted last year, got to give the guy credit. He nailed it 2 months before. To Drew, think about that. People thought I was nuts last year. What are you, nuts? Drew McIntyre's not winning the Royal Rumble. Okay. So I'm going to stick with mine. I don't know if I'm going to be right. I will tell you now, I think Brock Lesnar is going to win the Royal Rumble. I actually want to see that. I know a lot of you think I'm nuts, but I actually do want to see it. Seeing Brock Lesnar return, I think will give a little jolt in what's going on. WWE's making crazy-ass cash. Say that fast 10 times. They just inked the deal with Peacock. You mean to tell me you don't have the funds to get Brock Lesnar to come back for a little bit? I kind of don't think so. I don't know if Brock could get into the country. That's a good question, SoFly. Or Michael. I'm sorry, Michael. I'll say this. Pat got into the country. I don't know what Canada's restrictions are right now, but something tells me maybe he could get into the country. I don't know. That's actually, you know what, Michael, that is a fabulous question. It's a fabulous question. But you know what? Actually, who lives in Canada right now that we've seen on TV recently? I don't think Beth Phoenix and Edge live in Canada anymore. But I'm VJ says Canada is very, very strict right now. Kevin Owens, Kyle O'Reilly lives in Canada. I think he's been having residence in Florida for a little while now. But well, we'll see. I mean, we'll know in a couple of days. Psycho is saying Canada is still on lockdown. So, yeah, you know what? Before showtime tomorrow, I'm going to have to really check and see if there's any way Brock could get in the country from Canada. Maybe his type of work allows him to get into the country. I don't know. Well, you know what? SoFly, you just nailed it too. Robert Roode. Took Robert Roode a long time to get here. So, I don't know. I'll look into it. By tomorrow's show, I'll know if Brock has any possibility of getting into the country. If he could get into the country, I say he wins the Royal Rumble. On the women's side, I wanted Bianca Belair, but it just feels awfully rushed. I think Bianca Belair needs another year of build to get to that point. So I'm leaning towards Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley versus Asuka would be a fabulous match unless WWE tries to do a swerve where Charlotte turns on Asuka, Charlotte feuds with Asuka, wins the title, and then Rhea Ripley faces Charlotte at WrestleMania again. I'm telling you, we might see 2 WrestleMania rematches this year, just opposite sides with the titles. I'm not sure if The Rock is going to show up. I don't know. It's possible, but maybe you save The Rock for next year. I think John Cena shows up in the Rumble. There's going to be some surprises. I still feel Booker T is going to be in the Royal Rumble. Makes no sense for Bad Bunny to be performing his song if he's not in the Royal Rumble. So, Lion says Ethan Page lives in Hamilton. But is Ethan Page, well, I think he has been in the United States. Look, maybe for the type of work that they do, they might be allowed into the country. Maybe there's some very strict protocol that they may have to follow. But I'm going to look into it. And by tomorrow's show, I'll let you know what I find out. But with that said, we're at 2.5 hours. I love doing this show on Thursday night with you guys. I mean, the time flies fast, and we talk about whatever is on your mind. It goes from food to relationships to Crazy Lenny to wrestling to wherever it goes. But, tomorrow night, we have SmackDown we'll talk about. Tomorrow night is going to be SmackDown quarter-hour ratings, Royal Rumble predictions. Then after that, whatever time is left, whatever you guys want to talk about, we'll talk about. So that is the agenda for tomorrow. So if you're around 10:05 p.m. Eastern, we'll open up with some thoughts on SmackDown. We'll do quarter-hour ratings. We'll recap SmackDown quickly because it's the go-home show to the Royal Rumble. So there's not going to be some tremendous, shocking changes. We'll learn a few things about the Rumble. But, we'll see what happens. But so join me tomorrow night, 10:05 p.m. And as I say always before I go, if you enjoyed tonight's show, I appreciate it if you smash that like button, give it a thumbs up. That tells YouTube you recommend the show. The more you do that, well, you can only do it once, but the more our family does that, the more YouTube recommends the show to others and builds a little chain reaction, which is nice. And for those 3 winners earlier, definitely email me your shipping addresses and your names, and I will get them out either tomorrow or Monday at the latest. And very cool, very cool. I'm really glad we started doing this Who Am I contest, because we could do it live. I think it's very fair, and I don't make the questions tricky or deceiving, you know, and I think it reveals enough where I think it's been pretty fun. Plus, the people who we chose was interesting. A lot of people loved that I chose Casey Catanzaro, which is pretty cool. But next week, I think we'll probably do a more fluff name than anything else, but we'll see. So I'm out of here, everyone. Have a great night. And I'll catch you all again tomorrow night, 10:05 p.m. after SmackDown. So take care. Good night and stay safe and be well. Ciao.